Hey, what's up, guys? I'm the Normal Player Guide. Hey, a bit of a weird one this campaign. Now it's either love it or you hate it, but it's LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Yet another LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, kinda something that we didn't need. Seems a bit of a daft waste with the heroes coming up. I mean, not a lot of people are gonna summon on this because I say we got the crossover hero celebration. And then we also have the Christmas step up and the New Year step up, etc. And then, of course, the New Year units. There's a lot to look forward to. And this seems like something that's a bit of a waste. It's kind of like AGL LR Boo when he came out just before the anniversary, etc. And then there was, I can't remember what came out, but then something else came out somewhere in between the anniversary and the worldwide download celebration. So anyway, we got another Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think this is enough. We also have another banner unit. It appears to be Baby, and then of course we can go through the campaign because it's a pretty sizable campaign. And then we'll be able to see what we get, what the banners are like. But yeah, okay. So perhaps we should perhaps start off with actually what the banner is going to be. Yeah. So of course we have the new Goku. In this particular campaign, it will come with a new Shenron. This is the 200% lead to standalone 200% lead to GT bosses. I think he is another standalone LR as well, so that's pretty good, right? In this particular campaign, there's new Easy A's for various GTs. This is GT Cell from Hell. This is GT Freezer from Hell, and it's the STR Kid Goku. He could, I mean, all of these are pretty unique. LR Baby, AGL LR Baby gets his Easy A, so that's pretty mega actually, because he's Inhuman Deeds, isn't he? So and he's also on like Corroded Body and Mind, so he's huge. Various stories come out, and they all have like a little bit of a revamp, some missions to go towards. So that is something. Hey, there's the Dokkan Festival. So this is the banner that we get. Now we don't know if we're going to get discounted summons. Who knows? And we don't know if the banners are going to be 100% the same. But yeah, so you gotta love the ads. So on this one, as you can see, well, it looks enticing. I mean, we've got some pretty beastly units on this. Yes, the new Goku, and of course the new banner unit. Yes, you have arguably still the number one unit in the game, LR, Trunks, and Vegeta. You have a pretty respectable LR and Tech Gogeta, and then of course you still have a pretty respectable the Blue Boys, right? So there's three LRs right here. One of them is the best unit in the game. Then you got Gammas 1 and 2, who are depending on which side you're on, they could be the best TURs in the game, especially if they're paired together. Hell, this is an enticing banner. Pan is pretty decent. He's had his easy A, and he's arguably the worst thing on here. But it's not as if he's terrible. His easy A is pretty solid. So I mean, like this banner is pretty well stacked. But I'm telling you, unless Super Saiyan 4 Goku, in particular, is like full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I know it's a bit of a weird name. Unless that he is what you've been after, then you would skip. As I say, we've got heroes and crossover, and every year the category gets better and better, and the easy A's get more relevant. And then, of course, we have Christmas and the New Year Step Up banner and whatever New Year unit. Remember, New Year was Enrage Gohan and Orange Piccolo. So pretty mental. But yeah, the Gammas make a return. It's very rare. Last time they returned was the anniversary. Prior to that was the New Year. And as I say, you have the number one unit in the game. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Of course, if you wanted to save your stones for a LR Shenron, then that's probably going to be something. Appears to be a Carnival banner, which means it's double rates for any unit on here, including an LR. Yeah, cool. AGL Shenron appears to be the new shiny LR for 200% for GT bosses, but the banner's pretty ass. I mean, like, he is Sin, not Omega. He's reasonable. These two are ass. This unit's dropped off mega. This unit is pretty good if you can work your way around it. And of course, we've got some pretty decent LRs in here. We're talking like Zamasu. We're talking the brand new, only just released for part two of the Turles campaign, that ain't Goku, right? We're talking him. He's only just been released. LR Boo, Golden Frieza. Yeah, okay, so there's the fact that wow, I cannot believe this guy's on this banner. That's pretty mental. But then again, of course, it all depends whether or not he will be, because he's only just been released, so it remains to be seen. But regardless, that's the banner, so it's nothing special. What is special in this, of course, is we're going to have a bunch of Easy A's, including this guy, who will probably come around. Anyway, enough of it. Let's jump into the Easy A's. Well, rather, let's jump into the new units, and let's see if the Super Saiyan 4 Goku actually is any worth. Let's start off with the banner unit. So we have Revenge or Inhuman Deeds, which is a 3 key 130%. So that's flat out normal. So this is good because it's not as if we have any babies. He's probably going to be on GT bosses. He's on GT bosses, so that's going to be pretty good. It's a new baby, probably a very good compliment to LR baby. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. So that could be pretty good. So let's see, 3 key 150% to stats. So it's always nice when they have 3 key. Banner unit or not, when they have this, it's really, really nice because it makes the difference between needing orbs and not. It literally is that simple. So you get 100% to your stats on super attack. Your super attack effect greatly raises for the turn. Doesn't do the most damage in the world, but you do actually get a greatly raise. That's a 50% raise on top of this, which is 100%. You get an additional 100% defense. You get guaranteed to hit, guaranteed crit, and guaranteed stun. And that's just on attack when there's a pure hybrid Saiyans. Dude, that's insane. It's kind of like like STR Cooler gets guaranteed crits against a pure hybrid Saiyans. This dude gets doubles his defense, guaranteed hits, guaranteed crits, guaranteed stuns. That's pretty mental. And this is just on attack. So yeah, okay, even if you super attack, if you go into Super Battle Road or Fight and Legend event, because there's Fight and Legend events where GT bosses come into play. Now, where applicable, I don't know if you'll be able to stun him, but the fact that you're going to have a guaranteed hit so he won't dodge, guaranteed crit in some of the final phases, dude, might just be good. So you get 3 key 100%, 180% to attack against the pure Saiyans, or 180% attack, and 3 key against the hybrid Saiyans. Dude's the same as LR Baby. He's built the exact same, where he gets monster attack against a pure and another monstrous attack against the hybrid Saiyans. Dude's insane. Imagine if this was defense, right? Imagine if it was 180% defense, or even any amount of defense. The fact that you're going into GT bosses, fighting legend events, Target, Goku, and Revenge. In fact, all of these, I'm pretty sure, have fighting legend missions. So this dude could be pretty useful. Anyway, what's his stats coming in at 55%? Just over 8,000. I mean, it's not the world. Coming in at 11,000 is kind of like what Turles is when he has 69%. It's kind of like what the anniversary units come in as. So it's not so bad. Coming in with one dupe, you go to a rather respectable 10,000 defense, nearly 12,000 attack. There is a huge difference between 55 and 69%, but nonetheless, even at 55%, you still get it. The key is not going to be an issue. Greatly raising attack and defense is pretty fine. You have this. You have a little bit of key. You have this. It's super easy to go against a pure hybrid Saiyan. Technically, you do actually get defense with this because it's here. So you get defense and all of this nonsense, but then you also get attack. So going into the any fighting legend event, because they all have missions for them, a pure Saiyan, so that's the Goku of a GT, you're getting 100% defense, 180% attack, guaranteed crits, guaranteed hits, so they ain't going to dodge. It could be extremely useful and, of course, greatly raised. So how would you build this unit? Well, you don't need crits, because realistically, in the right situation, you got it. So you could go additional, because the additional would give you a double buff. But honestly, you might just want to go for dodge and additional. A nice blend between dodge and additional would really help you out. Okay, so he has Metamorphosis, Coward, Big Bad Bosses, Thirst for Conquest, GT, Hatred of Saiyans and Fierce Battle. Okay, Hatred of Saiyans is an interesting one. So it's not the worst thing we've seen in here. So of course we have Baby who's just about to get his EZA. We are also talking Baby Janemba, but you ain't gonna rock him on this. Now this Super Baby 2 Giant Ape, so yeah, the LR is obviously far and away better. It's mad that this guy wouldn't have had his EZA. You would have thought that if he has his EZA in this celebration, he would have the EZA area. You would have thought. Well, like it's not impossible. I mean, yes, basically you'd be rocking the key three in attack with just the LR, but it's legitimate because they're on GT bosses, and of course they share a fantastic link set. I mean, both of them are going to share like Thirst for Conquest GT Metamorphosis, probably. Metamorphosis, big bad bosses. Thirst for Conquest GT and Hatred of Saints. Dude, what are we getting? So that's 10% attack. So that's 35% attack, 50% attack, 60% attack, 70% of attack, and 3 key. What are you getting? 10% 35% defense, 50% defense. Dude, you're getting like 60% defense, 70 odd percent attack just in the links. 70% defense and all that attack, that's going to work huge for the likes of Baby. So if you haven't got the links done, I personally haven't got the links done at all, then LR Baby might just be one to do because you're getting a huge amount. You're getting 60% of stats from the main links. Hell, just these two alone are going to give you 40%, which is pretty rad. But of course, yes. But that's not so bad at all. So he's built rather cool. I quite like this. He's going to be good on artificial life forms, transformation boost, GT bosses in particular, inhuman deeds, yes, revenge, target Goku, and of course space travel and warriors. There's a huge amount of teams. The ones in green and this purple really could be good. Hell, artificial life forms as well. Yes. So the what's really helping is the big bad bosses and Thirst for Conquest is really helping them out with just some top tier units that are in here. So of course, then you've got and then Metamorphosis as well is what it is. So when you're traveling when you're using like Space Traveling Warriors transformation boost, legitimately could run him alongside because he would be a support. But we're talking like GT, we're talking like this dude who is pretty good as a support. And he's pretty good on GT bosses in particular as well. And surprisingly, he's way better than you give him credit for. So, yeah. So, GT bosses for that GT Legend Goku, there isn't really a great lead because it's only a 130%. Even if you use Shadow Dragon Saga, you ain't really got a lot of option. So now that there is a 200% lead coming out, even if you didn't have him, you might, if you pull this guy, should you summon, well, I mean, you can and you can't, I suppose. Then he might just help you out. But other than that, he's actually built really well. Now we go into the main event. So this is a big one because this dude's got a transformation. He has a standby skill. I mean, he does a lot, so we'll just settle in. His leader skill is fantastic. GT heroes are full power with 170% with the additional 200. Well, the 30% for the 200% for pure or hybrid Saiyans. Jesus. GT heroes and pure hybrid Saiyans. Wow. And then you're talking full power pure hybrid Saiyans. That's insane. The roster is absolutely madness. GT Heroes is probably one of my favorite teams. It's so small, yet so powerful, so fun, so easy to manipulate. Having this guy, it'd be interesting to see if he would outclass the LR Super Saiyan 4s who have had their EZAs. You would have thought, probably, because their EZAs is like a year old by now, year and a bit old by now. So, yeah, legitimately could be something. Right, okay, so key 3, 150%. So again, having this makes it a world of ease to get his super attack. So you get 1 key per key sphere obtained, so that's even better. Having like a mixture of this is good. So int will give you 3, everything else will get you 2. Additional 70% attack on super attack and a 50% chance of performing a crit if it's your 18 key. Alright, so he has a 50% chance to crit on his 18 key, which is super easy to get. An additional 70% attack within the same turn, and an additional defense 70% for 3 turns after receiving or dodging. Okay. Okay, so there's nothing here about dodging period, but fine. So receive. You do reduce damage by 20%. It's not a lot, but this will just be a niche thing you add on. You get an additional defense alone of 70% and an additional 20% damage reduction as the first attacker in a turn. All right, okay, so this is a pro and a con. So ultimately, in most particular cases, this is just niche. This means nothing. It's kind of like physical tailors had just come out. When he's fully built up, he has like 600, 700k defense, and then he has 20% damage reduction, which, I mean, it's basically just like adding an extra 100k to his defense. It really doesn't mean much, but it's nice to have. Now, when you slap an additional as the first attacker, well, I mean, in slot 1 is brilliant, but it's the first attacker, meaning if you get hit first, which is 9 times out of 10, this will not apply. So if you get hit first with a super attack, it's GG. But if you survive, you get this plus this, and then you're looking pretty strong. So, I mean, he can be a pretty decent tank, I would have thought. No doubt he'll hit hard, but it all depends. I mean, so you wouldn't use him as the first attacker, and you just wouldn't. Or anyway, so his super attack effect, you do get a 30% defense of the turn, and you do greatly lower attack. That is a 30% debuff for several turns. So that's great in, well, Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road. Battlefield, it's great in, I'm just trying to think. Well, yeah, pretty much that. Maybe some of the most difficult content, you're talking like red zones, where you can actually apply a bit of a debuff. Could be good there. His 18 key is you get a 30% buff for 4 turns, but that's basically it. There's no lower attack, but you do get this for 4 turns. So you could go for additionals, basically, because he has a 50% chance to crit. You could go for dodge a little bit, because he does have additional attack and defense after you have dodged or received an attack. And honestly, it's a bit of a waste, a bit of a shame that this guy is as the first attacker in a turn, because it means you do actually have to rely on dodge. And you noticed in this, he's a Super Saiyan 4, which doesn't have a super attack counter. Now, some of them have a 30%, some of them have a 50%, and Tech Gogeta has a 70%. But that's kind of like the Super Saiyan 4 or Giant 8 power kind of deal, isn't it? They all dodge the super attacks, they all have that chance. This guy doesn't, which is a bit of a shame. But so you could go dodge and you could go additional. The additional, of course, means you get this on your 18 key with your 50% chance to crit, but then you get this, which would mean so that would build up even more. So yeah, so you will build up pretty fast. Now it's going to take a few rotations, because ultimately you need your 18 key to build up the most. It's not as if you do an additional 18 key period. And of course, you need to have been hit anyway. So you're talking like the next turn where you see some fantastic numbers. But yes, so coming in at 55%, the dude has a rather great 12,500 defense, which is actually very sufficient to be like, if you just had this unit and your LRs in general are just not that great, like you've not got all the LRs and you definitely don't have one or more dupes in them, in any of them, then this guy will sit on top of the tree at 55% in terms of raw stats. Just for your LR. So if you do pull him, he will be the strongest on your team. From 1 dupe, what a jump. Dude, maximum is 15,500. Just 1 dupe gets you 14 points. Dude, that's most of the way there. That's insane. 69% really is 69% of the stats. It's mad. There is a huge difference. 14,200 beats most easy A's, most LRs even, just with 1 dupe. But yes, he's actually looking pretty good. Not realistically not a lot of attack, but he has a huge amount of defense and a ridiculous amount of health. And that is a ridiculous amount of health. 27,000 health at 100%. Good God. But anyway, yeah. So he has Super Saiyan, Shocking Speed, GT, Prepare for Battle, Saiyan Raw, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Okay, fantastic attack links. He does have Prepare for Battle and GT to give and Shocking Speed, which alone will give you what 20% stats, and you're also getting what 6 key 20% to stats, and then you get an additional attack. Oh, Saiyan Raw, which is a Super Saiyan 4 link, that gives you an extra 10%. So again, you're getting 30% defense, 6 key, and you're getting quite possibly close to 100% attack on the fact that, he's going to hit crazy hard, 50% chance to crit. Dude's going to hit monstrous, and the links could really define his defense. I mean, 60% stats is pretty mad. There is a huge amount of teams, 4, 8, 12, 16, 19 teams. I will not read them out. There you go. So we're talking like Connected Hope, Entrusted Will, Battle of Fate, Accelerate, the Greens. We're talking Full Power, Giant Ape Power. We're talking Miraculous Awakening, Turtle School, Earthbred Fighters, some of the weaker teams. But yeah, he's going to be really good. What are we talking? GT Heroes Full Power. God, just work on like Full Power GT Heroes, like Earthbred, Miraculous Awakening. There's a lot of teams he could help out on, and just a lot of teams in general, like Pure Saiyans, Goku Family, like Transformate. If you just work it out from like a Giant Ape Power kind of deal, you'd work out. Of course, no doubt that his best friend's going to be his own self in the transformed state. We're also talking Easy A Super Saiyan Full Power, basically the same thing, but the TUR. As in, you got the 4 main links: Shocking Speed, GT, Prepare for Battle, Saiyan Raw, giving yourself 6 key and 60% to defense alone, and like 85 to attack. The LR, there's a few years old by now, so chances are people's got him. But again, yeah, you got like Saiyan Raw, GT. I mean, you're talking the main things. LR Super Saiyan 4 will not, AGL Goku will not count on this because it's the same unit. But of course, you do have the Vegeta. Again, Saiyan Raw, Prepare for Battle, GT. You're all looking pretty great. This guy who potentially could have an easy A, and he's coming up on the heroes. He is fairly strong, has a 200% lead as well. Fairly strong, still got Saiyan Raw. I haven't got GT because he's not GT, but he's still coming in with Saiyan Raw prepared for battle. So, you're still getting 15% to stats, and you're still getting a little bit of key. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Okay, so the guy has a standby skill and then he has a transformation. So we'll go into let's have a look. So can be activated after he receives 5 or more attacks. Okay, fine. So when you get 5 or more attacks, you do get the additional defense for several turns. So he does have this. And then he transforms into Super Full Power Saiyan for Goku, which is when you get 30 key or more. Charges keys when you get 30 key count or more. Anyway, so looks like this is Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Majub. Fantastic. So this is the standby skill. New mechanic came in. Some of them are powerful, some of them are not as powerful, but yeah, hit and miss. So unable to attack. Okay, so that means it's a defensive unit off the bat. 300% defense. So you're designed to be the tank. So you reduce damage by 10% per key type sphere and guard all attacks of 3 or more for 1 turn. Dude, so 300% defense. You're obviously going to get 3 types, aren't you? So you get 10% damage reduction. Obviously, there's a cap. Obviously, if you get 10, you're not actually going to have 0 damage. But the point is, if you get you're going to have guaranteed guard in a sense. So you got guard, and you get in this, so it's 30% damage reduction with just the bare minimum required. But dude, it's not as if you're not able to get 6 or 7. So you can have 70% damage reduction more of anything with guaranteed guard, which is insane. All allies get 3 key 70% defense for 2 turns. 2 turns. Wow, 3 key 70%. So that covers this rotation and the next. So that's actually nice. He is an int key orb changer, which is really nice, and unarmed super attacks will be nullified. So he kind of is basically like going up against GT Goku with his unarmed attacks. It's nice, I suppose. It's not necessary when it's directed at the character because you're getting like this, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, it would only count if like you got one or two. So pretty bonkers. This is just for the turn. Now, if you happen to get 30 key within the turn, then you'll transform into super full power. If you don't, then you'll just have a finish skill, which is you'll come out of the standby mode, you'll recover 30% HP, and you'll get 3 key. But you'll remain in the form we just had. 1 key more, and then you go into the next stage. So you return back, but you have 30% HP, or you go into this phase. I mean, it's literally 1 key more, which is pretty mad. So, okay, what do we get? So this time, rather than recovering 30% HP, you get 77 HP back. Guaranteed guard and guaranteed crits for 3 turns. Oh, well, guaranteed guard for 1 turn, guaranteed crits for 3 turns. 7 key 200%. Dude, okay, now we're talking 55%, 200%. Now we're talking. So we get an additional 2 key per int or rainbow, an additional 1 per anything else. That's really good because I presume then that his 12 or 18 key is going to be ridiculous. So 150% attack on super attack and a 70% chance to crit if it's your 18 key. No defense. You get an additional 59% attack and a guaranteed crit when key is 24, which is not so bad actually because you're getting 70% at 18. But then again, the fact that you're getting like 4 key per int and 3 per rainbow, that's like you're guaranteed crits, right? You're gonna have ridiculous 150%. Then with a super attack effect. Good God. There's your defense. Additional 77% defense for 5 turns after dodging or receiving. So it goes up a little bit. So you now get 77% for 5 turns. So it goes up just by a little bit. Damage reduced is by 25%. So it's by a little bit. So basically, right, okay. So this is the exact same, except it's dialed up just a smidge. You get 5% additional damage reduction. You get 7% extra defense. Now, this is still the same. It hasn't been fixed. Okay, granted, you got guard for the turn, and you're getting 200% to stats, which means taking that first hit will probably work because you get the first hit and you get the additional 77% damage reduction, then you get this. But this works out better because you have guard, you have additional stats, and you could even have support on the rotation. So, like, this is worthless. Well, not say worthless, but this is horrible. But because it has this, it complements it. It's almost as if it's intentionally done. Now that I see the transformation state, it's almost as if this is how the LR is supposed to be, and then they did that because I don't know, it's like a taste of what's to come. Okay, so 12 key, you get attack and defense. So not just defense, you now get attack, but still greatly lower attack. You greatly raise attack for the turn, and you still raise defense for 4 turns. That's good. The fact that you keep your defensive raise for several turns is great. The fact that you still greatly lower attack where applicable is great. The fact that you now get attack as well is fantastic. This LR, this unadulterated full power, right? He is pretty busted. Guard to help give you the additional defense, which in turn gives you the additional damage reduction as the first attacker. The fact that you're getting a key mechanic so ludicrous, you're going to have guaranteed crits with ridiculous amount of power. We're talking 200% leads. We're talking over 200% to bonus, plus his super attack modifier, plus support, plus links. Yeah, no, the dude, honestly, 55%. at midway links, the guy's probably hitting like 8, 9, 10 million. Between 8 and 10 million, depending on support. Honestly, he just is. Um, yeah. So he's pretty bonkers. He's absolutely bonkers. In this particular form, he does work with a Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Okay, good, but it remains the same. Um, he seems good. He seems good. Is it me, or do I feel like Baby's actually pretty better? Is it because the fact that there's just not really a good representation of Baby that I feel like he's really good? Like this guy is fantastic. There's no doubt. But yes, without going on too much longer, it's great the readout. He seems great, but remember at the start of the video, well, it seems there might be a lot to go off. Now we don't know if it's going to be our Tanabata campaign. If it is, then uh, sure, right? We'll have tickets and whatnot. Now I can't guarantee that the content will be the same, but it, well, for the most part, will be right? Whenever this unit comes out, 9 times out of 10, all this comes out. Parunga, interesting. If Parunga literally comes out, then it will be. That'll be a good sign. But yes, there is there's not a lot, but there's a lot of meaningful impacts. Like Baby comes out, Shenron comes out. Not like you'd someone in particular, 'cause the banners are ass. I mean, it's tempting because the Gammas and the best unit in the game, but yeah, hey, you know. Anyway, I'll leave it as this. Yeah, you let me know what you think. You let me know if you're going to summon. I personally wouldn't. There are better content around the corner with better rates and rewards. But as I say, if he's your favourite, he's your favourite. But anyway, thank you very, very much. If you made it to the end, then hey, fantastic, you made it to the end. And if you liked it, fantastic. If you didn't, well, that sucks to be you. But hey, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.